G'day guys and welcome to BST Weekly NBA Edition Episode 5. I'm Tim Blacker and this is Joey Caney. How are you, Joey?
Oh, I'm very good. How are you?
Not too bad, thanks. I mean, we're up to Episode 5 now, so the show's well and truly rolling, and every Monday that comes around I just can't wait to shoot another episode, and here we are. Dan, I'm sure we've got a packed show.
We do. I've actually just lied to you there. I'm not okay.
You're not?
No. I'm quite sad.
Okay, why'd you lie?
Well, you pressured me. I felt you pressured me. But
Okay.
it's your last week here for a few weeks, isn't it?
It is, yeah. My last week for a couple, but look, I am going away to work on some things for the show, and look, it's going to be good. So I've got plenty of surprises in store for you.
Well, good for you, maybe. Sad for me. I don't know how I'm going to get through it.
Well, there have been rumours circulating in the VST around the backroom staff that there's a special co-host. Maybe is this true?
It's on the cards. We can't promise anything, but we'll see next week. Let's put it that way.
All right. Well, I look forward. Well, why don't we make this our best NBA show to date, and why don't you kick us off?
Well, first off, we're going to go into the quick bits. They might not be so quick, but we'll spend a bit of time on them and a few headlines, and we'll get through them. We'll run through a whole list of them. The first one that I talk about is not a good one. Timmy Duncan, who we spoke of before, and how great a season he's had and how he's led his team so well. He's left the game yesterday with a right ankle and a left knee sprain together against Washington. What are your thoughts there?
Well, I mean, obviously they are common injuries in basketball, given the nature of the sport and the surface and all that kind of thing. But look, especially at his age, it's a bit of a worry.
It is.
Mine. You never want that sort of injury, ankle and knees at any stage during your career. But look, when you get to Duncan's age, he's not in his youth anymore, but he's still playing good basketball. Generally takes a bit longer to recover from, but on the flip side of that, I think, how severe is it for a start? Is it like...
Well, they don't know the scans that today hasn't come back yet, but I think they'll have to nurse him through to playoff time. I think that'd be a smart option for San Antonio.
In that sense, if it's not too severe, which hopefully it's not, then in a way, with being a bad thing, it's sort of a good thing. They got wins on the board. They don't need him to be playing these games. They'll make playoffs, all that sort of thing. And look, I mean, give him a rest. And look, hopefully, if it's not too bad, he can just come back ready for the last 10, 15, if that, and go into playoffs.
Yeah, well, Thiago Splitter's had a career year, really, up to date. And obviously, earlier in the year, Greg Popovich got in trouble from the NBA for resting his stars. He rested Parker and Duncan and Ginobili, I think, as well. He brought him out of the game, and the NBA didn't like that. So you're right. There is some upside to it, but as you said, given his age and the nature of the injury, it's a bit worrying, I think.
Oh yeah, it's always worrying. And look, I mean, we'll know more when the scans come out, won't we? But look, hopefully for Timmy, it's not too bad.
We move on. Pau Gasol and Mark D'Antoni, obviously the coach of LA, have had a few sniping comments at each other. It isn't the first time. But do you think a trade may be in the air?
Possibly. Yeah, possibly. It's a tough one. I mean, you never really know the true severity of a player-coach clash sort of thing. So, I mean, anything can sort of happen. But, look, he's getting quite old now, Pau. So, it's probably the last decent chance they'd have to trade him and get probably close to full value.
Yep.
As close to full value as you're going to get for a guy like Pau. So, look, if they can get the right guys in return, I think it wouldn't be a bad thing. What do you think?
Well, as you know, I don't rate Pau Gasol as highly as the general public.
And his brother Mark.
I rate Mark probably up there with Pau, but Pau is a flopper, and he doesn't really, for mine, have the toughness that's required to become the player he could potentially be. I think D'Antoni, in his system, yes, he loves offense and the running game, but I don't think Pau fits in. Obviously, you got Nash and Kobe started to pass now. It hasn't worked out with Dwight, Pau, Antoine Jamison they've got in their front court as well. Earl Clark is a burgeoning youngster, I suppose you'd say. he's thereabouts, but probably not starter material. I think the Lakers should deal Powell because there are teams out there. I know the Rockets covered him, but any other team that's a bit low on the front court could use a Pau Gasol on their run into the playoffs. And I think, as you said, dealing him now would be 100% the right time. If they could get a really decent small forward, obviously Ron Artest, I refuse to call him Meta World Peace. I don't care, he's changed his name. Ron Artest is getting on, and they could really use some help in that position for mine. And I don't know exactly who's on the market off the top of my head, but
I know I always seem to bring this side up when we talk about trades, and last week it was with Cleveland, but one that's always been mentioned as a possible destination is the Timberwolves, actually. And I'm not sure how that would really work with, when Kevin Love's fit. He occupies that power forward position, but there's been massive talk that, Ricky Rubio and Pau Gasol are the best of bum chums, I suppose you'd say. And
the best of bum chums.
Bum chum, they're besties, BFFs.
Right.
That's what they call it, the girls these days, BFFs, young girls, best friends forever or something.
Or boys,
whatever. But we'll go with that. But I don't know. I know David Kahn, general manager of the Timberwolves down there, he does like Powell. But it would just be a matter of what the Timberwolves could give back for Powell. And Derek Williams possibly, but he's starting to play quite good basketball. What do you think? Not only on the Timberwolves, on if they would be interested, but what other sides would you think would be interested?
Well, I would have said Memphis, but as we know, we'll touch on their big trade later and what they've been able to achieve, and Toronto as well. The team that does come to mind is the Rockets. I know that they've been after him for a long time, Daryl Morey down there, the GM, but I can't, off the top of my head, think of a trade that LA would be happy with. The assets coming back to them from Houston, because they're pretty thin after their starting five. So obviously Houston's a possible destination, but the big one probably maybe Dallas.
Yeah.
Like, I know he's old, and I just had a go at Ron Artest for getting on in age and producing a little bit less, but a guy like Sean Marion maybe even could help out there in that. In that position?
Yeah, potentially. He's playing quite good basketball, Marion, this year. But, I think if he was going to go anywhere, it would probably be to probably a playoff side, would you say?
Yeah.
Playoff contender. Well, I've just got a few teams here, actually. And I want you to say yes or no.
Yep.
Just briefly. Brooklyn?
No. I don't... No.
No?
No. He'd fit in well there.
Yeah.
But
would be a great one to punch with Brook.
Too much offense, not enough defense.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
Is the thing, I reckon, there.
Yeah. Atlanta?
Horford, Smith. There is talk that Josh Smith could be on the move.
Yeah.
So the Lakers could potentially be... That would be something else, wouldn't it? If Josh Smith went to the Lakers... Gee, that'd be the best starting five in history.
Yeah, and that's the last one here. Boston.
No, I think I need to blow it up and go young.
Yeah,
I think
we've said that before.
Yeah. I think if Rondo was fit and Garnett and Pierce were all on the court, he'd be all right there, because Garnett's tough enough to sort Powell out. But yeah, probably not for mine at the moment.
Oh, cool. Well, it'll be interesting to see how it develops.
It really will. Speaking of the Dallas, though, the Mavs head coach, Rick Carlisle, has been fined $25,000 for criticising the refereeing. And that was the game against Golden State, where it came down very close there at the end. I'll quote here. The game came down to the call that wasn't made. Wright was hit on the arm. It's 2 games in a row, and I'm very concerned about what's happening at the end of games with officials. I can only be honest. What are your thoughts there?
Look, sour grapes.
Really?
Well, there's going to be calls. They're only human. And until the game is officiated by robots, which it could be in 100 years when we're not here, that see everything. They have 3D vision, infrared, all that sort of stuff. Until that time, calls are going to get missed. And it's part of the game. I'm a big believer in the fact that you get as many as you don't get. You get as many dodgy calls as you don't get the ones you think you should. So, look, sour grapes for mine. No doubt there's been times in that game against Golden State where they've missed opportunities, they've missed an open three, something like that. So, suck it up, Dallas, and get on with the next game.
I couldn't disagree with you anymore. I think there is a league-wide problem with officiating. I fully believe, and not so much in this case, because the Golden State don't have exactly A-grade superstars such as LeBron and that type of level. But I think referees play to the stars. I think LeBron James, in certain situations, driving to the hole will be called a foul, whereas a guy like, off the top of my head, someone who hasn't got the name... Anthony Tolliver, driving to the ring in the same situation, wouldn't be called. I think if you've got the name and you've got the profile, the referees subconsciously, I don't think they do it on purpose, they subconsciously play to that and make calls accordingly. And I think the buzz and the vibe around Golden State is probably added to that same type of thing that I'm talking about, that phenomenon that I'm talking about, where officials subconsciously play for the entertainment, to the drama, to the big name, to the exciting side. And I think there is a problem, and I'm with Rick here. And if I had the type of money that he's earning, I'd chip in for his $25,000 fine, because I wholeheartedly agree with him on this one.
Well, look, I agree with you in the sense that the best players in the league get let off with a bit and get a few more calls than they probably should. But look, for mine, it's still sour grapes. Get on with it, win your next game, and you'll forget about it. So let's move on in the topics as well.
They're in trouble, Dallas, by the way.
Well, we said that before.
We did.
Didn't we? I mean, they've got an old list down there. Similar to Boston. Blow it up, start again. For mine, Dirk's not the player he was. That's going to happen with age and with injuries. And Vince Carter, well, he's very close to one of our segments here from All Talks Off Camera. But I'm not sure if he's got it this week.
No.
He mustn't be far away. But look, yeah, I mean, it happens. It's a cycle. They didn't revamp the roster as well as they probably should have during their time that they were up. And yeah, they're going to pay the price for it.
True. We move on to the Celtics, and Jared Sullinger is gone for the year with a back injury. Now, I know that probably doesn't matter so much to Boston in terms of their playoff aspirations, because they're minimal at this stage. But Jared Sullinger, I know a lot of other teams are looking at him in the draft, and one that comes on the top of my head, the Orlando Magic passed up on him because of his back troubles. And Coach Doc Rivers from the Celtics has said that they had known about the back troubles coming into drafting him, but they thought they'd take the risk. Where do you think that leaves him now? Do you think he's potentially out the door at the Celtics and time to move on, and they're lost cause to the NBA? A perennial, one of those guys who's just perennially injured?
I don't think so. I think the Celtics will have a little bit more faith. They drafted him, so they're going to hang on to him for as long as they, possibly can. I mean, another bad injury when he comes back next year, yeah, we'll probably just start talking about he's probably gone. But at this stage, other teams' interests probably go out the door in terms of trading, whatever. But look, I think Boston will still give him another shot.
Yep.
What do you think?
It's a worry. He's come into the league with injury question marks over his head, and his first season he's gone for the year. So that does not bode well for mine, and probably a risk that wasn't worth it in the end. Yeah.
Oh, well, it happens. And, they thought at the time, Boston, that they had to take that risk, and look, it's blown up in their face. But
what do you do? What do you do? In better news, in brighter news, great for the country of Australia, not just the city of Melbourne. Andrew Bogut is back on the court.
Yeah,
finally.
Well, it came as a surprise, really. I don't think a lot of people really knew that he was actually going to play when he first came back. And look, he showed us why he was such a great player at Milwaukee when he started, and he had a fantastic game. He's not back fully yet. Of course, he can't play back-to-backs. But look, in terms of his first glimpse back, he's still got it.
That's right. He was the number one pick, and he's been. Well, we've written Salinger off for having gone for the year. Bogut is one of those perennially injured guys as well, where he just keeps picking up little knocks and keep missing time on the court. But when he's fit and healthy, and when he's right, and hopefully now hopefully finally he's over everything now. If he can have a good run at it, he'll be so valuable to that Golden State team come playoff time, because they've been rolling without him.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's just like adding a gold chip to your belt. You know, it's they've always had him there, but to actually be able to play him is something else. So look, as you said, it's going to be great to partner him up with David Lee there. Those two big boys could, well, one, they can do the job on defense, and two, they're going to cause a few headaches at the other end as well. So, yeah, I mean, it makes them at least be accountable to Bogut on the offensive floor, which will free up David Lee a bit more as well, so he can go to work in the post and whatnot. So, look, it's great for them.
Exactly. They can't shuffle over now to Lee and leave their man, because if they leave Bogut open, he's going to do some damage, as you said. So, really good signs there for Golden State, who we're on the bandwagon a little bit this year, it's fair to say.
Steph Curry.
Now, rookies of the month have been named.
Yes.
Bradley Beal and Damian Lillard. What do you think?
Well, yeah, probably deserved. I mean, Bradley Beal's been great for Washington, and well, Lillard's been something else for Portland. He's played some extraordinary games this year, so yeah, deserving for mine. What about you?
Yeah, Lillard's been pretty solid his whole rookie season, this whole year way through. Beal had a really, really good January and a pretty good December. So, yeah, good for mine. The rookie this year aren't setting the world on fire. Outside of Lillard, who we all know is going to be, if not already, quite a player.
Yeah.
Outside of those guys, it's a bit thin, isn't it, this year?
Yeah, well, I saw Anthony Davis. It's been a while since the season started, but yesterday was the first time I actually fully watched a Hornets game. And look, I watched him quite closely, and he got quite a few baskets and everything. It was quite dangerous. He's still very very lean and raw, though he's got a lot of filling out to do. But look, I think he'll be a good player, but he'll take a lot more time than Lillard and Beal to start playing his best basketball, I think.
Yeah, and he doesn't have... Obviously, Portland are a pretty solid team already. New Orleans, they're starting to build after the loss of Chris Paul, so he doesn't have the help around him, I suppose, Anthony Davis, yet to really be able to show his wares properly, because he doesn't have the support around him yet.
Yeah.
For mine.
Yeah, no, exactly right.
And the last one on the list, back to the Celtics. This could be possibly the stupidest thing I've ever heard in the history of sports my life.
What's that?
The Celtics have met with Greg Oden in talks to get him on board to Boston.
Ugh. Well, I hadn't actually heard that, and I wish I still didn't, because that's an interesting one for mine.
It's worse than interesting. You're being so polite.
Yeah.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. If they actually... No, talking to him... This guy is shot. He is shot dead. He has been clinically declared dead. And that was 5 years ago. That was 5 years ago. Yeah. He's not alive anymore.
No?
No.
Okay.
Or if he is, he's a rotting corpse. Seriously, this guy is completely washed up. His knees are... This pen would hold more weight than his knees. And why on earth the Celtics, who need to blow up their roster... They
don't need another old...
What are they... Actually, honestly, please try and explain to me what positives bringing Greg Oden on board would be.
Stories around a campfire on the off-season trip.
Now...
Well, he's got a few, surely, in the bank that he could bring out around the off-season trip with a few beers.
I mean, seriously.
That's the only real positive, I think.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That's a disgrace. It's worse than a disgrace.
Well, surely there'd be some bloke flying around the D-League they could bring up that would be playing better basketball and be better for them than Greg
I'm going to put this out there.
Yeah.
I'd be better for you, Boston Celtics, than Greg Oden would be. Give me a call. I can make the trip over and I'll play for less. I'll play for $500 a week, let alone whether they're going to play Greg.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope it doesn't happen.
It's embarrassing, and
because he could be a very quick winner of put a fork in it.
What? Do you know that Greg Oden was the original idea for the concept for put a fork in it, and that was when I was 12? So, I mean, it has to be, seriously, they need to get their head checked, Boston Celtics, after that.
That was some 20 years ago for you.
Silly. It was about, no, we won't go into ages here. But anyway.
Caught you off guard there.
Well, I mean, there's been a few knocks on myself, fans of BST Weekly, for being the old grandpa fan, where I make a few comments like back in my day, this type of thing.
Mm.
So that's going to lead us into a segment a little bit later. But for now, we'll move on to the big story of the week.
Yep.
The big trade, the talking point of the league. If you haven't heard about it, get out in front of the rock. Memphis trade, the Rudy Gay's gone from Memphis. He's gone to the Toronto Raptors. And the Grizzlies have traded... Toronto have traded Calderon to the Grizzlies, who have immediately flipped him to Detroit.
Yeah.
And that's for Tayshaun Prince and Austin Day. So Tayshaun and Austin are at Memphis. Rudy Gay's at Toronto and Calderon's at Detroit. But also, and probably more importantly, the Raptors also sent Ed Davis and a second-round pick with him to the Grizzlies. And Memphis sent, not so importantly, Hamed Haddadi to the Raptors. A lot to take in there. What are your thoughts on that one?
Well, so what did Detroit get out of that?
So they've lost Tayshaun Prince and Austin Day.
Yeah.
And
picked up Calderon.
And they've picked up Jose Calderon,
who's been playing really well for Toronto.
Oh, he's a good player.
Yeah, so he's been great. Which team do you want to start with first?
Well, let's go Detroit.
Detroit, yeah. So I think Calderon is a great pickup for them. He'll help Knight down there. Brandon Knight develop into a better player. In terms of that, it's a big tick. In terms of losing Tayshaun Prince, who's the main one they lost there, Tayshaun's been a staple of that franchise for a long time now. Mm-hmm. So look, I'm sure a lot of fans would be a bit sad to see him go, although I think it just came time where he's just getting a bit stale there. Needs to throw things up in the air, needs a move, and I think it'll be good for him. But as I said, people will be sad to see Tayshaun go. What do you think about Detroit in that sense?
The fans will be sad to see him go. Some weren't aware of it as quickly as others, which we'll touch on later. But Tayshaun was at the Detroit rebuilding. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, well, he's at the wrong end of the spectrum, age-wise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I always say that you need, when you're rebuilding and when you've got young kids involved, you need good, solid, older guys, old vets who have been there and done that and can lead by example and create a really good culture. And Jose Calderon is that guy. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying Tayshaun's not, but Calderon can provide more than Tayshaun on the court for them at the moment. And he is a really upstanding, solid character. So one of those really good guys to have in the locker room as well. So that's a tick from Detroit for me.
Yeah.
I think they come out on top.
Yeah, it's a tick for me as well. We'll go to Toronto.
Yep.
Now, so they've gained, obviously, Rudy Gay.
And they've lost Ed Davis, a second-round pick, and that's all.
Where did Haddadi?
Hamed Haddadi left Memphis, and he ended up at the Raptors as well, but I mean, that's negligible.
Okay, so they picked up Rudy Gay and who, sorry? Ed Davis. No, Ed
Davis
Davis.
Lost Ed Davis,
Toronto, yeah.
Picked up Rudy Gay. They lost a second-round pick.
Ed Davis. We'll start with Ed Davis. Ed Davis was really good for them in the absence of Valanciunas and Bargnani.
Yep.
I think his career though it'll definitely stall a bit going to Memphis, which is a shame for him because do you think the same there?
Yeah. I see him as a long-term, probably a third big on a team. Yeah. Not a starter, but that's predictive. He was on the up and up and up at Toronto, so He's really athletic. He was really solid at Toronto, and I think his minutes will actually stay about the same. Obviously, he started, but assuming that Bargnani and Valanciunas, as you said, if they were playing, I think he'll get relative minutes, if not more than he would at Toronto. He'll get better minutes at Memphis. And I know that there's not that many minutes to get when you got Zebo and Marc Gasol starting and playing 36 a night. But I think they're really good guys to learn off as well. And it's not like they're spring chickens, either of those two. So he could really establish himself on this team. And I think he's got an opportunity to become a pretty vital cog in their wheel.
Yeah, no, I don't agree. I couldn't agree more. As I said, I think he will stable a little bit, but in the long run, which is what the plan is with Ed, I think it's a good move for him. So, in terms of Rudy Gay, though, it's a move to really get an A-grader, face of a franchise, back to Toronto. I mean, they've got some good players there, don't get me wrong, but ever since Boschy left, they've sort of been missing that one guy that fans will say, yeah, hey, we got Rudy Gay, sort of, you know what I mean?
I do. I'm on board.
Yeah. So,
do you think he's that good enough to have that franchise tag though?
Well, he's a franchise player for them, but I don't think he's good enough to be league recognised as a franchise player.
Yeah.
To Toronto, he'll be that face of the franchise. Look, don't get us wrong, because I think we're both in the same boat here. I think he's a great player, but he's not A+ for mine.
Well, he's average. He scored 20 on debut, and he scored 29 as we go to air. So in his second game, that's against Miami. So
that's all well and good though. But I mean, Harden went to Houston, hit 40 in his first 2 games. So I mean, generally when a good player goes to another club, they're going to have a few belters to start, but then it's the next 10 after that original 5 for mine that are really going to see how he shapes up. And look, I hope he does well. But we'll just have to wait and see.
If they trade Bargnani, he'll be their number one scorer. And he'll have to carry that scoring load. And I think he'll be expected to average, well not average, but 30 regularly.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's capable of doing that myself.
Probably not. I'd say no.
Do you think then that they should keep Bargnani? They shouldn't deal him, or?
Well, you can't go around saying what Bargnani said for mine, and without damaging relationships in some sense. So he's still injured, so we'll wait till he comes back and see what happens then. But at the end of the season, probably I wouldn't be surprised to see him go. I don't think they'll deal him before then.
Yep.
So it would be really interesting to see also how Gay and Bargnani play, because he's not too far away either, Bargnani.
That's
so
right,
yeah, we watch with interest. But for mine, Toronto, they're losing Calderon, Davis, getting Gay. Probably a par.
Yep.
Yeah, probably a par. I mean, they've lost a good future big guy in Ed Davis, lost really good veteran in Calderon, and picked up a good A-grader in Gay. So, yeah, I mean, it's not a bad move. It's not a awesomely fantastic move. But if you had to pick a side, I'd say, yeah, probably a good move.
And Memphis, obviously the catalyst, they were the ones who wanted to deal Gay in the first place, and that was to get themselves under the luxury tax, so they don't have to pay that anymore. So we've given Detroit a tick. We have given Detroit a pass. Memphis...
Detroit. You said Detroit twice.
We've given Toronto a pass.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Just before we get off Toronto, this puts a massive load on their point guard position now, on Kyle Lowry, who's had injury troubles this year. How do you see that? Just quick.
You think it puts a load on Lowry?
And a lot of pressure on him and the team, seeing as Lowry's been injured.
Well,
for a lot of this season,
it does. But I think Calderon was a backup, obviously.
Yeah.
And I think he should be starting.
Yeah,
that was what I was sort of getting at in a stupid sort of way.
Yeah.
But Calderon's a starter in almost any team in the league for mine. He really is underrated still.
Yeah, no, I like that.
And yes, they have a Lowry maybe under pressure, but he should the contract that he's on, he really should be performing.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, he's had some injury troubles, but you know, I think he's he has to perform.
Yeah.
Toronto though, yeah, I don't like the direction they're heading, but we'll wait and see. But yeah, Memphis. I just wanted to say Memphis have absolute steal here. I think they've got to achieve the objectives that they really wanted to. Tayshaun will be a really great glue guy for them, and he'll play at the 3, I think, and he'll be sensational for them. Rudy Gay wasn't what they needed, what they required. Tayshaun Prince will be everything they wanted and more. He'll play a lot of minutes, and Memphis will have a serious crack at a title this year.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. He's going to be a really good pickup for them, Tayshaun, and they get under the tax, which was their main objective, so it's a big tick from Memphis from me.
And that leads us on to the standings. Let's have a look at those. We can see the East standings here. Miami on top, that's a mainstay. New York second. We're used to seeing those two names there. Chicago in third, with Derrick Rose really, really close to returning.
Yeah, we touched on it last week, didn't we? They keep picking up W's while in his absence, they're just getting themselves in a fantastic position, really.
Brooklyn will finish fourth, I think. Indiana, yes and no for mine. They've dropped off a bit lately.
Yeah, a side like Indiana's going to for mine. They're not A-plus caliber like the Miamis, so even though they're a good side, they're still going to have dips in form from time to time.
Yeah, Atlanta battling. That seems to be where they'll finish, and I don't know where they're going into the future. But Milwaukee have turned their record around a bit, and they're pushing up. I think they'll overtake Atlanta by the end of the season.
They've been really good, haven't they? Monte Ellis keeps playing pretty good basketball for them. So, people in Milwaukee will be thrilled with that.
The ones we talk about Boston every week, but they are just going to slip away, I think, there. And Philadelphia, Bynum has to return quickly because what a terrible year it's been for them. Yeah,
we touch on it every week nearly. Look, they've played unders for mine, but just back on Boston there, they've won 4 in a row. So, we keep potting them, yet they keep picking up victories. But, as I said, if they finish 8th, they'll get swept by Miami pretty comfortably for mine. Yeah. I know they beat them a couple of weeks ago, I think. But, playoff time, they'll smash them for mine.
Detroit, we said rebuilding. They've been part of this trade. I think next season will be the one where they're really focusing on now.
Yeah, for sure.
They're stuck a fair bit away from the draft, and Toronto, they're in the same boat as Detroit, but Orlando now have lost 9 in a row. I think they've lost 19 of their last 21 games, but their kids are really coming on. But the thing about Orlando is I think they're pretty, keen to land one of the lottery picks.
Yeah, well, there's no point really pushing up now. We're a fair way into the season, so I'll keep playing the kids for mine, let them develop. Cleveland there as well. Kyrie Irving's just playing magnificently well at the minute. He's won them the last couple of games, which they've won, so for mine, he's brilliant.
Well, we mentioned him. He was our Caney's Royal Toast last week, and he's done it again. He's scored a clutch winner for Cleveland, so Kyrie Irving has been so amazing this year, and you just can't talk him up enough because he's such a good player. I just can't wait for them. Maurice Bates has been pretty good for them lately as well, but just quickly on Charlotte and Washington, headed for a lottery pick and probably battling it out with Orlando, I think.
Yeah, well, Washington will be happy with that. They're well and truly on the rebuild, but we switch straight over to the Western Conference. San Antonio are on top now, 10 in a row. Look at that. That is absolutely outstanding. And then OKC, the Clippers, and Memphis are going to be that top 4, I still think.
Yeah, Clippers I always say they might drop out, and I still think they might. The Golden State, if they just keep this run on it, I think Memphis could potentially finish in 3rd and Golden State in 4th there. But however that finishes, there's the 4th and 5th matchup in the first round of the playoffs is going to be intense.
Watching with interest will definitely be a 7-game series for mine. It's going to be great to watch. Denver, they're 6 in a row. They keep on, they're doing fantastic.
Yeah, they are. I thought they dropped off a bit. I wasn't that happy with them, but 6 in a row, you can't argue with that. And if they finish in 6th, I still think they'll be in trouble, whoever they play.
Yeah, I think so. I think those top 3 there are just, and even if Memphis do sneak up into that, I think the top 3 are just too strong in the West. But, Utah are hanging around, as is Houston, but look, they're competitive size, but they won't do any real damage for mine.
Nah, Houston's a danger team if they get hot for mine, but outside of that, I don't think they'll trouble any of the big boys up there.
No, not at all. We're up to Portland. Yeah, they're, that's probably all they could really expect. Maybe a notch higher, but other than that, I don't think they could go any higher. The Lakers starting to win a few, but still with a negative record, which at this stage of the season is unheard of.
It is unheard of, and it's too late really to do anything about it now. This season is gone to them for mine. Even if they make the playoffs, they have to play San Antonio or someone first week.
Well, they still have to make the playoffs. If they don't make the playoffs, it's going to get talked about for years, isn't it? They got one of the best starting.
They've got the best starting 5 in the league right now.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's just their depth is a bit of a question now, which I suppose it always, hasn't been A-grade depth, has it?
No.
But Kobe was a younger man back then, and, all the others that have passed through. So, Dallas are in the same boat as well. They're a pretty ordinary side now for mine. Minnesota picked up a great win yesterday. But other than that, they've been struggling with injuries and whatnot. And,
playoffs?
No, not this year, I don't think, Joe. I mean, they're missing everyone apart from Love and Buttinger. But look, they'll push up. They'll get a few more wins. Don't worry about that. And the bottom 3?
Yeah, Sacramento, Phoenix, New Orleans. New Orleans would love another lottery pick. They'll stack their team with nice young talent there. Yeah,
well, I mean, the bottom 3 sides there, New Orleans is who I'll focus on there. I mean, they've still played some pretty good games this year, and despite their big loss yesterday to the Wolves, I think they'd be pretty happy with how they're set down there, and I mean, they'll continue to develop and get better.
It's going to be really interesting because the draft isn't that strong, it seems to be, so there's going to be a lot of teams with lottery picks that I think will try and look to move them, and I think if you're a mid-level team like an Indiana or something like that, you could really sort of steal a high pick in this draft and, continue to complement your side that way.
Yep.
But we watch with interest, as you
always say.
Always say. Stole your line there.
Yeah.
Let's move on to a new segment on this show. I've copped a bit of shtick in the past for being a bit angry. Well, I'm not normally angry though, am I?
No, you always are angry.
Well, I don't think so.
A very angry fossil.
A fossil?
A fossil. You are the oldest of our friend group. The beard makes you look a few years older than what you are as well.
Well, would you say that to James Harden?
Well, yes.
Silly.
Which is what you're trying to get, but you'll never get there.
No, it's not. No. I'm keeping this beard until we reach 1,000 followers on Facebook. That's the goal.
Well, hopefully that's not too far away.
Well, hopefully it is, because I like the beard. So, not telling fans to hold off, but if we can just ease it out into at least another month, surely.
Oh, hope not. But look, now you're always an angry person, so let me know what's making you angry.
This week on things that make me angry. All right, I'm going to start off with probably the worst case of flopping that I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that when I saw it. Kevin Martin has absolutely disgraced his name here. Let's have a look. As we see here, the Oklahoma City Thunder, Kevin Martin, look at him go, oh, he looks like he's been shot there. That is an absolute disgrace. I loved you, Kevin Martin, and you have absolutely tainted your name. Look at him go up here. There's no one within coo-wee of you. What are you playing at? You are an embarrassment, Kevin, an embarrassment. That is, seriously, if you knew Kevin Martin personally, if you were his friends or his family, you would be embarrassed to watch that footage. You'd have to be.
Well, that was disgraceful. I hope he got a fine. The flopping fine? Did he get that?
Not to my knowledge. He may have, but
surely
to my knowledge.
that is, as you said, a disgrace, and he should seriously hang his head in shame, because that is not a man. That is a puny little wuss and
a cookie puss.
A cookie puss. That is absolute. No, it's pathetic. That's all you can say.
It is.
Just disgraceful.
It's probably the worst I've seen.
Yeah. Oh, without doubt.
To that point. Unbelievably, I've seen something worse.
Oh,
a worse flop.
No, a flop.
Well, yeah, we'll call it a flop.
All right.
Let's
you better
have a
get
look.
this up.
Let's have a look. Chris Bosh, who's just shot the... Let's have a look at this. We're going to have a look at a close-up because who knows what was going on from that distance, but it is absolutely shocking. It's probably worse than Kevin Martin's here. Reggie Evans obviously upset about it. Have a look at this. His hand is nowhere near him, and he's just absolutely skyballed that ball. Let's have a look at that. Ah! Obviously, that was called a foul, and as we can see there, clearly, absolutely no contact at all with Chris Bosh there. None.
That is... Well, it ties into exactly what we were saying, what you said before, in that the stars get calls.
Yep.
What is that? That is a disgrace.
No place in the game. What?
Just... I can't even think of a word. That's just pathetic.
And how bad is it by Chris Bosh to do that in the first place? Like, he's obviously... It's not like it could be a quick reaction thing, but it doesn't... That's premeditated for mine.
Oh, yeah.
He saw him coming at him and he's like, whatever happens here, he's going to get a foul. I'm not going to make the shot, so...
Was it 3? Was he going for a 3?
I think so.
That is a farce. Yeah, Reggie Evans, I think it was, defending. Consider yourself very unlucky, my man.
Rightfully was pretty pissed off.
Yeah.
Did
he get text? He probably got text, did he?
Well, I would have just walked out then and there. I would have walked out then and there because they can review, and if they choose not to review that, which they didn't, disgraceful. Anyway, there's something even worse than that. Believe it or not.
Stop it.
Not a flop this time.
You're being silly.
Not a flop this time.
You're being silly.
But there's something else that has made me even more angry.
No, there's not.
Angry enough where I am going to get revenge. That's how angry I'm about this.
All right.
Let's get this up. I apologise about the quality of footage here, but it needs to be seen. Goran Dragic, watch his foot here and watch what he tries to do. Here he comes back at Bogut. Look at the kick there. Look at that kick.
What did he try and do? Was he actually trying to kick him in the knee or in the nuts? The old family jewels.
As we know, Andrew Bogut's had a surgically repaired ankle.
No.
Now Goran Dragic knows this, and he has purposefully tried to kick his surgically repaired ankle.
You're kidding.
I am not kidding.
What's the fallout been from that?
Oh,
Has
I'm
there
unaware.
been anything yet?
No, not fine-wise as to mine, yeah.
Shit, there's been some happenings this week in the NBA.
Well, that is poor. As you can tell, that makes me very, very angry.
No place for that.
It's worse than that, though. That's look, it's not assault, obviously, but in terms of in sport and how bad it can get, that's as bad as it gets for mine. Yeah. It's not during the play, although the ball is in play, but it's off the ball. So he's just premeditated it, gone to kick him in his surgically repaired ankle. We know Bogut's had a lot of injuries. Dragic knows this, and imagine if he connects and his ankle, he's gone for the rest of the year. Like, I mean, that's what he's trying to do. That's what Dragic's just trying to do. He's trying to get his ankle.
Yeah,
he's an absolute bellend.
Yep, and I really hope that the NBA look at this seriously and punish him in the way he should be punished. And, well ideally, it'd be ban him for the rest of the year because that's what he was trying to do to Bogut and put him out for the rest of the year. But, yeah, look, a substantial ban, at least 10 for me.
More for me.
Yeah.
20 for me, at least. I am going to get him back, though. I'm going to get him back by showing a bit of footage here that I don't think he'll be too proud of.
All right.
Let's have a look. Here you go, Goran Dragic, you little punk-ass biatch. Derrick Rose all over the top of you, and you, sir, are on a poster. Goran, you can only ever dream to be anywhere near the type of player that Derrick Rose is. He plays the same position as you, and you are half the man that he is. You will only ever be half the man that he is if you continue on with antics like you've shown. And look at that. All up over you. Don't try and guard him, mate, because you're not going to get anywhere near this bloke. You are pathetic, Goran Dragic. Pull your head in.
Justice! Justice! There it is. We all love to see that. And Goran Dragic, I hope that happens to you every game you play.
Yep. Did I go too far?
No,
I don't think I did.
No, it's disgusting. He should be embarrassed in himself. His family should be embarrassed. Disown him. That would probably be going too far.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but nah, that's pathetic. It really is. It's dirty. It's distasteful. It's not what basketball is about. Pull your head in, son, and a very fair reason why you got angry.
Yeah, well, I thought so. And it just goes to show that I am a fair and level-headed person at all times.
I'm glad you've actually got angry for a good reason this time, rather than
as opposed to?
Well, your random outbursts at Melbourne derbies. But we won't go into that. Unfortunately, we don't have any footage, but if we did, it'd be straight up. But that's for another time.
We go and drag each other comparable to... I'll make an out of NBA reference here and say Archie Thompson, the pile of... We move on to Caney's Royal Toast. Caney's Royal Toast, we'll pick it up a notch here and go to something positive because it's about time. Actually, no, you know what? We're going to go with Pop of the Week first.
All right.
And let's just ease our way into Caney's Royal Toast because that is
big.
Really big.
It's
this
big.
week, really big.
All right.
It's not to say that this Pop of the Week isn't big because this actually really tickles my fancy. I think it's quite amusing, actually.
All right.
And I know you haven't seen this. Let's have a look now. Let me set the scene. This fan here is obviously a Tayshaun Prince fan, and this is the day after that he's been traded away from Detroit. The man is hanging over the edge there, waiting for his hero to come out, and it just hasn't happened. There comes the mascot. He's still looking. He can't figure out what's happened. Where's Tayshaun? He doesn't know. He's thought, it's a smart one here. He's had a look at his phone to see, is he injured? What's going on there? He still can't work it out. He's rang his buddy, obviously. He still can't work out where Tayshaun is. Then he must realise, well, he's done. And look! Off comes the shirt! Off comes the jersey! No more Detroit basketball for me.
Oh, that is some of the best footage I've ever seen. Yeah, it's like a little kid at Christmas when he doesn't get the present he wanted. He was so excited and then he just got let down totally.
Sensational stuff by that bloke. Absolutely love it. Hang on, you can read his mind, can't you? He's devastated that Tayshaun hasn't run out with the team there and obviously didn't rate it.
Well, we'll see him at Memphis games from here on in if he's got that much love for Tayshaun. But as we said, yeah, look, Tayshaun is going to be missed because he's been a staple in that team for 10 years. So, yeah, but that is just priceless.
Sensational stuff. And it's a nice little lead into another bit of sensational work here. So this isn't as funny. This isn't funny. I'm going to bring it up now. Caney's Royal Toast. It's not a funny Royal Toast. It's not really a positive Royal Toast. Normally we give a team on a roll a rap or a player who's been playing exceptionally well. I think Kyrie Irving was last week on Caney's Royal Toast. This week he goes to a man who's done something that I think most of us wish we could do. I'm going to preface it by saying there was no put a fork in it last week because of the backlash of Greg Steamsma fans.
Steamer. Yeah.
The Steamboat.
Yeah.
There's a bit of backlash by their fans, and they have said that Greg is unwarranted, undeserving of negative criticism. However, this week, I've seen something unbelievable. Obviously, our show is reaching the shores of the USA, and the NBA world has stood up and taken notice because someone's gone out and done a job
Yeah.
that we talked about, we may have hinted at, and certainly we wanted to do ourselves. Let's bring it up right now. Matthew, legendary Barnes here. You can see him getting tagged up with Greg. And have a look at the work he's put on him there. That's a flagrant 2 foul. He's going straight up to him. And it's so good. Let's have another look at it right here.
1 and boom.
And that is deserved, Greg. But the best thing about it all is this, Tim. Absolutely true to form, Greg has given us nothing. Again, this is a man who's been shoved in the face. He's been stood up. Matty Barnes has come at him like a, what do you call those snakes that pop up at you? And,
cobra.
A big cobra has come at him. Matty Barnes on the attack, on the strike. And Greg Steams has given us nothing again.
A goldfish.
That's right. So I'm actually at loggerheads with the fans on this one. Greg is deserving of everything he gets, and I'm so happy that Matty Barnes got him one. It was a flagrant 2, but it was worth it.
It's almost like Matty Barnes came up with him and said, "Didn't you see BST Weekly, boy? Get off. Get out of our game. Tim and Joey put a fork in ya. Get lost. We don't want ya." You know? So, look, big Greg, surely, as you said, he could have given us something. At least he could have shoved him or something, not just like...
Does he have a mental... We could have attacked probably someone a little bit helpless here. Does he have the mental capacity to give us anything? Or is he...
No, he doesn't.
Is he just not...
No, Greg doesn't.
Hasn't got a lot going on up top? No?
No.
All right.
No, that's brilliant. No. Matty Barnes, yeah. He's been watching. Obviously,
he's been watching. Yeah. And I hate to give away any of our secrets, but there may have been a sneaky phone call put in. Just said to Matty, just sort him out, big fella.
Well, we are ever growing here at BST Weekly. Soon we'll be in a proper studio. And look, things are going well, but Steamer will not be a poster in our background.
And it's happened once already. We've proved that we can get it done. Let's see if we can get a bit more work done on Greg, because this is a vendetta now. That's it. We've drawn the line. This show has finally got its first enemy.
Yeah,
in Greg.
Yeah, we're not a massive fan of the Steamboat, but
no.
Look, that's with that we wrap up the show with Greg. Although you have something else, dude.
You'd think that, but I hear the fans crying in front of their tablet or computer screen or mobile, whatever they watch it on, because we're available on all platforms. But where has Put a Fork in It gone this week?
Oh, it hasn't even been given.
No, it hasn't.
No. Oh, well, I've definitely ended it early.
It's not a regular Put a Fork in It, though. You were right on that. It is a bit different. As we said, we have all over the world people watching the show. And we've got contacts, obviously. Matt Barnes has been watching. Well, someone else has been watching, Tim, who's got a bit more of a name, a bit more of a reputation than Matt Barnes. Kobe Bryant.
Yes.
Now, Kobe. We have put a fork in him. We have knocked him. We've said that he's playing so much hero ball and he's costing his team wins and not good enough from a future Hall of Famer. Wow. Hasn't he been watching? He's come out and become an absolute assist king, hasn't he?
Dropping dimes.
He has. Let me read you through. He averages a touch under 5. I think it's 4.9 assists per game on his career.
Yeah.
His last 5 games, remember, so 4.9. That's what he averages. Let me read you his last 5 game stats. 14 assists, 14 assists, 11 assists, 9 assists, 8 assists. And that works out to be an average of 11.2 over his last 5. So that is more than double his career average in the last 5 weeks.
Well,
last 5 games, sorry, not weeks.
The man has changed.
He has.
And he's become more of a team player, which is needed. And surprise, surprise, the Lakers are starting to win games.
Exactly.
Only a fool would fail to recognise the sync there.
The correlation.
Yeah, the correlation between Kobe starting to go away from this hero ball which we've raised and then picking up wins.
That's right. It really is scary to think that Kobe sits down every week and watches us, but he does, obviously, because, as you said, the correlation there...
Why has he not changed his game before we started up?
Well,
BST.
exactly. Obviously, we are the catalyst. So,
Well, we're going to take credit.
well, we have taken credit. I've been taking credit all week, so I'll continue to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, yourself,
I like
not personally me, but you as well, Tim.
Well, everyone associated with BST.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's take a fork out of him.
Take a fork out of him.
Because
Now, not many people are going to get that.
Not many
That could
at
be the
all.
only ever take a fork out of him.
That's right, but he thoroughly deserves it because I hate Kobe bashing, but he was in line for it, and now he's changed his game, he's rectified, he's adapted, he's evolved, he's done what we asked, and we can't ask for more than that.
That's exactly right, and we're happy to say a good word about Kobe because that pretty much keeps 80% of the basketball fans worldwide happy.
Watch our viewership at least triple this week. Hashtag Kobe.
Yeah, hashtag Kobe. We look forward to it. But with that, unless you've got any other hidden surprises,
I've got no more Easter eggs for you.
We got no more. Well, we are done. Episode 5. Locked and loaded. Well done. We did well again.
We did.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're one for plugging ourselves here at BST Weekly, as
We
you can
are.
see. But no, look, it's been great. And I mean, as we say every week now.
Like the old man that I am, I'm going to go take a nap. Catch you later.
So, Joey is, as you can see, he's thrown me off a bit there. But look, guys, seriously, thank you again for watching. Remember our modes of contact, which will come up in the credits after the show. But look, please get in touch with us. Please give us your thoughts. From the old man himself, Joey Caney, who's not here anymore, but he says thank you for watching, and as do I, Tim Blacker. It's been an absolute pleasure, guys, and we will catch you again next week. And don't forget, BST Weekly.